Five Guys has developed into one of the most thriving and quickly expanding business tycoons in the United States over the past couple of decades. In this video, we discuss the distinctive business practices that have contributed to their success. We all know about the famous Five Guys. It became a brand in the United States over a short span of time. Their burgers and fries are well known in and around the United States. Five Guys is an amazing success story of how a family business used an unconventional model to grow into a major restaurant chain. There are currently about 1,700 of them in operation, generating system-wide sales of well over $2 billion a year. They're also in virtually every state, in addition to Canada, Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. And that's just the beginning. The company claims that there are an additional 1,500 units in development. We've identified 6 factors that contributed to their success, with the first being their willingness to take risks. I understand that this is a necessary component of starting any business, but the family behind Five Guys has shown an abnormally high risk tolerance, so I have to respect them. Jerry Merle and his 4 sons are the originators of the name Five Guys. In the 1970s, Jerry, a financial planner in Washington, D.C., made several unsuccessful attempts to launch his own company in the oil, bottled water, and real estate sectors. By 1986, he had 3 high school-aged sons from his first marriage named Matt, Jim, and Chad. Jerry had a conversation with his 3 soon-to-be high school graduates in which he essentially gave them the choice to either use the money as intended to go to college, or they could group together and use it to start a restaurant. This is where the risk comes in because in addition to our 4th son from his second marriage named Ben, who was still very young, they obviously made the risky choice of forgoing a college education in favor of opening a small restaurant that, let's be honest, didn't seem to be very promising. The bank wouldn't lend them any money to get things going, so they were forced to stretch their cash by opening the restaurant in an unattractive, out-of-the-way location and even finding some broken old kitchen equipment and personally repairing it. By the way, about a year later, they had a 5th child named Tyler. The unusual business principles that Jerry and his family followed, however, made me believe that the risk was increased. I have to admit that the results of their approach are undeniably successful, and one of their guiding principles is simplicity. I believe that anyone who has ever been there will agree that there is nothing complicated about it. How many restaurants out there serve you food in a plain brown paper bag and the item inside the bag was ordered from an exceedingly simple menu? Five Guys walls have a very simple red and white checkered layout. Their containers often feature the same theme or sometimes nothing at all. See, a portion of the inspiration came from a restaurant called Thrasher's that Jerry had visited in Ocean City, Maryland. Thrasher's only offered french fries, but because they used premium potatoes and made them exceptionally well, there was always a demand for them. This made them realize that they didn't need a lot of items, but rather just a few really good ones. Jerry believed that a good cook would be able to tell when the food was done, so timers were not to be used in the kitchen. This required the chefs to be extremely attentive, but it paid off because even though the new recipes were known for being widely unhealthful, they become popular. Let me light one of these joints on fire, shake the fries exactly 15 times, and arrange the onions, bacon, tomatoes, and pickles below the patty. However, he was hesitant since he didn't believe they could manage the culture and equality, but Jerry soon learned how challenging it was to raise the money for his expansionary goals. Well, no other choice, he decides to franchise the brand in 2003, going against his instincts in the process. His sons had been pushing for this move for years, so they were excited about the move. This took the company to unanticipated heights, making it the fastest growing food chain within a few years. Banks thought he was getting too ambitious when he said that he wanted to compete the likes of McDonald's and Wendy's. Since then, Five Guys is only referred to the children, but no one was fooled. Jerry still controlled every aspect of the company, which is fortunate as he's responsible for the restaurant's enormous and quick expansion. From the beginning, Jerry was adamant about how he wanted to run his business, and he claims that his only wise choice along the way was to stick to his principles. But when the restaurant refused to deliver even to President Barack Obama, he heard it right. Jerry took the adage, stick to your guns, to a new level. Five Guys Jerry's has a history of refusing delivery to high-ranking government officials, so even the US president had to wait in line for a burger. He insisted that deliveries made the food less expensive and posted a large sign outside the restaurant that said there would be no deliveries whatsoever. This is only one example of Jerry going against the grain. Despite high customer demand, the restaurant did not initially provide milkshakes because doing so would require producing its own ice cream. If you haven't already understood, Jerry wouldn't accept any other approaches. If they created milkshakes, they would do it properly, which they believed they couldn't accomplish. The perfectionist in Jerry would only accept the best ingredients. This is why they only order potatoes from Idaho, because they happen to taste the best. When hurricanes destroyed the tomato crop and drove up prices, many franchises considered doing away with tomatoes entirely because of the new costs. But all of Jerry's sons refused to entertain the idea because they knew this move could start a downward spiral for a restaurant that has never compromised on quality. At Five Guys, food is the top priority, so their decor is simple and understated. Despite the common belief that ignoring consumer expectations will lead to increased efficiency, simplicity is the key to efficiency. So where are the 5 men who played a role in making this happen today? Jim and Matt go shopping in different states. In the early days of the restaurant, Jerry saw his sons fighting with mops and buckets. While they don't do that anymore, loud arguments in the discussion room are not uncommon during such times, and Jerry could not be more grateful for soundproof rooms. But the 5 Guys have worked out. Chet monitors training, Ben chooses the franchisees, and Tyler runs their bakery. From the time they started, they have come a long way, and Jerry's more aware of it than anyone else. There's still work to be done for Five Guys in the days to come, as they aren't the most popular burger restaurant among millennials. But their conviction, commitment, and quality have brought them this far and will undoubtedly take them forward too. When Jerry decided to start the restaurant with his sons, he knew that he was taking a gamble. They have concentrated their efforts on international markets, opening locations in Canada in 2010 and London 3 years later. As I mentioned earlier, they have locations all over the world. They had been receiving requests from people who wanted to franchise their restaurant for 17 years before they finally agreed to do so. As a result of their rapid growth, they have always been successful in locating franchisees who are good in financial standing. They've been doing these weekly reviews of the cuisine, cleanliness, and other aspects of the restaurant, and they give the staff members incentives if they perform really well, so there you have it. Before finally agreeing to carefully but quickly franchise enough locations to become an international chain of successful restaurants, Five Guys took some risks to opening a simple restaurant that sacrificed a lot of things like price variety, wait times, and advertising to provide the customer with quality food. They slowly but steadily built and proved that system before finally agreeing to do so. Now let's look into the fabulous menu of Five Guys. The main items on the Five Guys menu are kosher-style hot dogs, Keebler National all-beef franks, hamburgers with Kraft American cheese or Applewood smoked bacon, and grilled cheese, BLT, and vegetable sandwiches. Compared to regular buns, Five Guys buns are sweeter and eggier. There are 2 sizes of hamburgers, ordinary with 2 patties and tiny 1 patty. The only side dish is fresh cut french fries, which are only salted in Five Guys style or seasoned in Cajun style. Customers can freely customize their meals by choosing from 15 different toppings. Most locations provide free roasted in-shell peanuts for on-site consumption, with signage warning potential customers who may have a peanut allergy. Due to these allergen concerns, customers are not permitted to take these free peanuts home. Additionally, the restaurant offers milkshakes in the classic flavors of vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry. Customers can also request their milkshakes with up to 10 complimentary toppings added in, ranging from Oreo cookies to bacon. So how do you guys feel about their famous restaurant chains and business strategies? Let us know in the comment section below the video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.